First grade. All right, so here we have our drawing of our family pet. You guys are used to seeing like this. I know it's a terrible drawing of fish. So, me as a family pet, here's my drawing of what I want to go off of. Right now we're going to spend some time on the mouth. So we already have a basic head shape, and now I'm going to show you how to make a three-dimensional mouth that pops up out at you. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to get a hold of our mask that we have started with. Remember, it has eye holes already cut and has little slits. The next thing I'm going to take a look at is my 3D paper sculpture techniques. So I'm going to look at one of these, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to start with the fold and cut method, where I cut on the open edge, opposed to cutting on the folded edge down here. So I'm going to use this and then this to make my mouth. So how this is going to work, it's going to be different for everybody, but you get to experiment, you get to play around a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my paper in half. And then I'm going to cut off some of the edges, because remember, folding and cutting on the open edge, and for that, I'm making half of the shape of the mouth. So what I mean by that is, if I drew a line in the middle of this mouth, right now, just like when we drew the face, I'm only going to draw this side of the mouth. I'm going to go back. Actually, here, I'll leave it over here so you guys can see what I'm drawing. And I'm using a pen so you can see. You guys are going to use a pencil. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to draw that half shape and come back up. Now, I can cut that off. So I drew everything so that it started at the fold to make sure that it's all together in one piece at the end. Alright, so I'm going to take this and got to cut it out. So the next step that I have to work on is cutting out the opening of the fish's mouth. Oop. I'm going to smooth that out a little bit. So if I open this up, I have very similar to that shape, because I divided it in half. Now I have to worry about cutting out this mouth shape. So yet again, I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to cut out just that shape, half of that shape over here now, the shape right here, to get that mouth shape. It's pretty similar to the line of the mouth. And now I'm going to cut this out. And so after I'm done cutting this out, there's going to be a hole in the mouth where you can see back to the bottom. Now, the inside of this mouth, if I look back to my picture, not the one I drew, but the one I printed out, on the inside it's black, and I'll show you in a second how to get that. So I'm going to come back to my mask, and when I attach my mouth, I'm not going to glue it flat because it's three-dimensional. I'm actually going to bend this the other way now, put my pencil lines on the bottom, and I'm going to fold this in just a little bit, about the thickness of my pointer finger. And I'm going to do that on both sides, and then I'm going to do it a tiny little bit on the top. And I'm doing this so that I have a place to put my glue, because it has to attach back to my picture. And you guys can play around. I'm going to cut a little slit right here so that it can bend since it's a curve. And ta-da! That's how I'm going to get my fishy mouth to poke out. And it doesn't have to connect on all sides. Maybe it'll just connect for me on this edge. So what's going to happen is I'm going to put the glue here. But before I do that, I need to talk to you guys about how to get that black shape on the inside. So I'm going to take some black paper, and I'm going to put it underneath the opening of that mouth. I'm going to go ahead and move these out of the way. And then I'm going to trace around it. And I'm going to use the edge of my paper so I don't waste anything. So I'm going to trace around it. I know it'll be difficult for you guys to see. And then when I go to cut it out, I'm actually going to cut it out bigger than how big it actually is, because you'll be able to see down in there. And so I want to make sure that it's a little bit bigger. And again, the side that you draw on, always make sure that's the side that you put glue on. It'll tell you this forever, but we made it. Notice I used the edge of the paper so I wasn't wasting anything, and this can go in the scrap box so someone else can use it. So I'm going to go back to my face, and on the side that doesn't have my name, I'm going to glue this down where I want my thing to go. And notice I'm kind of squeezing this. You hear that? I'm trying to get more air into it so that the glue can come down. Alright. And there we go. So I can just do a few dots of glue. And I will glue it down right where I want the opening of the mouth to be. Alright, so that. And then right on my little tabs that I made, I'm going to put a couple little dots of glue. And a couple dots of glue there. And I'm going to glue that down. So now when you look inside, and just so you guys can see how I'm gluing this down, I'm gluing the little tab here. I'm gluing the little tab straight down. So it'll be three-dimensional and popping up. So I'm going to move this, stick, make sure it's where I want it to be. And it might require me putting a finger in here to hold it down. Or I can just push it down and hold it from the top. I'm going to count to 5, or I'm going to count to 15 to myself, not out loud. And when I'm done, it'll be staying. You notice it's three-dimensional and it's popping out. So that is the basis on our mouth. The next thing we're going to learn about is our eyes, how to add more details.